Props for today, sort of the basics, a bolster or big pillow, a smaller pillow, and a strap, a belt. Let's just make our way down to the mat after what probably has been a busy day for all of you. So if you want, you can just gradually roll down by engaging the core, and that's another piece that's always linked to lower back pain, is working with core strength. So today we're working with the lower back, focusing on traction of the spine, one side of the spine at a time, parshva, through lateral bends, core strength, and forward bends. So inhale, expand the belly into the hands. Exhale, draw the belly in, make a ha sound. And feel the lower back go into the floor as you do that, as you pull the belly button in towards the spine, the belly in and the pelvic floor. Inhale, expand the belly like a balloon to the sky and out to the sides and out to the back body too. Exhale, draw it all in. And just notice the effect on the lower back. Do you feel one side of your lower back going more to the floor than the other? Just notice that. Inhale. Exhale. Now as you draw everything, can you pull up from the pelvic floor first, the lower belly, the belly button in, and draw everything in and up as you draw the lower back to the floor. Inhale, relax the belly. Let's try that again, like you're zipping up a pair of jeans. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, draw everything in and up, engage that Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, the pelvic floor lock to the stomach lock. Inhale, expand, release those locks. Exhale from the Mula, the root to the stomach. Zipping up that pair of jeans all the way to the waist. Inhale, expand. And one last time, exhale. And release. If it's comfortable for you, stretching both legs out, you could stretch just one leg out as well if you prefer, or you could keep both legs bent. If you're doing one leg out, you're going to have to switch halfway through, and I'll cue that. So the reason you'd have just one leg stretched out would be if one side of your spine you know is more compressed than the other. You could play with that. If you know you have one hip higher than the other or one side of your back more compressed than the other. Tadaka Mudra, I'm going to show the symmetrical version. Inhale, bringing both arms up, tucking the chin in. If this is hurting your shoulders, you can have a bolster behind you. You can bend the elbows. And then exhale, coming down. As you exhale, zipping up from the pelvic floor all the way to the belly button, and the chest relaxes. Inhale. Exhale, pelvic floor up. And as you do that exhale, I'm focusing on the exhale, I want you to notice the effect on the lower back. Inhale. So believe it or not, we're actually using our core as we bring the arms down, resisting the exhale. You might feel the back muscles, part of the core, working just by using the arms. If you were bending one leg at a time, switch sides for the last 3. Inhale, arms coming up. Maybe adding that chin lock, Jalandhara Bandha at the top. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, draw everything in and up. 2 more times on your own pattern. Making the exhale long and smooth. Inhale whatever you want. Focus your mind on the exhale. 1 more time. When you're finished, just rest at the bottom. And relax. When you're ready, you're going to grab your bolster or bed pillow. Just be mindful how you get up. For some people, coming to the side first will be important for lower back care, not coming up straight like I did. So that just depends on your back. Holding your bolster or bed pillow. And make sure that it is between your ankles, between your knees, that you're able to squeeze it. So we're first going to just work on exhale, squeezing that pillow or bolster, and just notice the effects on the inner thighs, but then also the pelvic floor and the lower back. So squeezing the inner thighs will have a secondary effect on the core, the transverse abdominis, and the lower back. So just feel that exhale, drawing everything in. Now, can you hold after exhale? 1, 2, keep squeezing, then inhale. Relax on the inhale. Exhale, draw everything to the center. And pull up from the pelvic floor to the belly button. Hold 1, 2. This is working on the Mula Bandha and a little bit the Uddiyana Bandha stomach lock. Inhale, release. Exhale. Hold 1, 2. Just do a few more on your own. You might increase the length of the hold. Focus on that exhale and hold after exhale. Notice how the pelvis rotates back during that hold. The tailbone tucks under like you're trying to lift the hips off the ground. This is great to just help us ground through the body, ground the mind and the nervous system, get into the core, the mula, the root. When you're ready, you're going to do that same exhale movement, but this time you're going to lift the hips off a little bit at the end and just feel how that keeps the lower back very still and not a back bend. Now inhale, you're going to lift higher, release that bed pillow a little bit and try to lift the hips higher. You're going to have the knees slightly apart. Lift as high as you can. And then exhale, squeeze that bolster pillow and gradually roll down. We've been working on this the last few weeks. This time I'm focusing on the lower back aspect, less than the hips. Inhale, release the pillow, relax the legs. Exhale, squeeze that bolster, tuck the tail under and lift the pelvis off the ground. The lower back's quite neutral right now. Now inhale, can you lift the chest up and lift the hips higher as if someone's pulling your hips up to the sky with a belt underneath your buttocks. And then exhale, squeeze that bolster. And roll the spine down. Focus on bringing one vertebrae at a time down from the upper back to the middle back to the lower back. Inhale at the bottom, rest, release. Let the belly relax, let the hips relax, they open a little bit. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, and lift the hips up. Inhale, lifting higher, release the bolster, lift as high as you can. Exhale, squeeze the bolster and focus your mind on bringing the spine down one vertebrae at a time. And notice if you're feeling one side of your back more than the other. So if you have scoliosis, rotation in your back, you might be feeling one side of your back more than the other. And just keeping this going. One more time, we're going to exhale, squeeze that bolster, tuck the tail under, and lift up. And then inhale, lifting higher. And exhale, squeezing the bolster and gradually rolling down. And just rest. There's someone trying to get in, so I'm just gonna deal with that while you just rest there for a minute. Okay. All right. So the counter pose to Dvipadipedam, the bridge. Just the arms at the sides. Anywhere that's comfortable for you. And then you're just going to exhale, bring your knees to one side and then the other. So exhale, coming to the left. That works for you. Inhale, center the feet nice and wide. Exhale to the other side. So the classical counter is Apanasana, knees to chest. But in the last few trips I've had to Chennai, my teacher Sridhar has added this to the curriculum. And I was very happy to see that because for a lot of people, knees to chest is actually not the best counter for bridge due to tightness in the hip flexors. So this is a nice way to just release the lower back side to side after a very simple back arch, Dvipadipedam. Exhale, moving to the side, inhale to the center. When you're ready, coming to the center. And let's just stretch one side of the lower back at a time. So I'm going to start this with bent knees, and you're welcome to do it with the legs straight, starting from the legs straight, Suptasana. I'm going to show it first from alignment pose. This is a variation. So your exhale, bring your left knee into your chest. And at the end of the exhale, you can use your hands to help just stretch that left side of your back a little bit more. Inhale back to the center, the leg down, and then exhale the other side. So one variation of this. Another variation is just having your legs up and moving one leg at a time with your feet off the ground. And you could do this without the hands if you want to focus more on using core to move your legs. I'm going to show from Sutasana. The advantage of this version is it stretches the opposite hip very nicely. And you can add both arms overhead on the inhale. You can point the toes if you like, and then exhale, flex the toes, or you can relax the toes. On this one, I tend to flex the toes on the inhale, and exhale, I relax them. Just stretching one side of the lower back at a time. Again, the feet can be on the ground. You can move from there, or you can move from the feet off the ground in the regular Apanasana starting position. This is moving from now to Daka Mudra, the arms overhead, the chin in, that's your inhale, and then exhale using the core strength or the mula from the pelvic floor all the way to just below the belly button to draw that leg in. It's a stretch that many physiotherapists will teach for the lower back. Now, if it's comfortable, this is a lot more weight. You could try bringing both knees in on the exhale. Now, the easiest version of this is inhale, knees away, and exhale, knees towards the chest. And try not to use your hands very much, just a feather light touch of the hands. And right at the end, use them to give that extra stretch of the lower back. Inhale, away. You want to make it harder, start with the feet down and use the core strength to bring them up and in. If you want to make it harder still, start into Daka Mudra and exhale, drawing everything in. So those are some steps for you to consider. Depending on your lower back, so what I'm showing now is definitely the hardest version. Having finished around 6 to 8 of these, just rest. We've completed our first series, our first mini practice. Just rest. That could be the practice you do in the evening, just to rest your back at the end of the day, relax the mind. Just adding a small meditation here. I want you to focus on that third chakra area, the belly button. If you think of what's behind that, it's your lower back. This is your power center, the Manipuraka, the seat of many jewels, many organs of digestion. It's said that this is, for a warrior, the power center of a very imbalanced sense of self that is aligned with the heart, the power of the heart. And sometimes when we're feeling disempowered, we will have pain in our lower backs or in our neck and shoulders, or both. So doing these physical practices can sometimes help us just change that experience physiologically, give us a little juice to open up and face the obstacle that might be causing us some fear or disempowerment. When you're ready, stretching your legs out, we'll go more into that later. Walking your feet over to the right, if that's comfortable, in little baby steps. If it's not comfortable, you can try putting a bolster or pillow under your thighs, or bending one of your legs might feel a little easier for your back. The point is to stretch that left side, so I'm now bending my right leg to show that. You can also put your right foot on top of the left, across the ankles. And then can you walk your shoulders over towards the right? Stretch that whole left side and maybe hold opposite elbows or hold your left wrist. Now, can you derotate the spine? Try to bring that left hip down and stretch through the whole side body. Inhale. Exhale. As you exhale, try to derotate, bring that left hip down. Inhale. Just relax everything as you inhale. Stretch everything as you inhale. And then exhale. You'll stretch the lower back a bit more during the exhale. Inhale. Stretching perhaps the left arm, the rib cage. And then exhale, draw that left hip down, derotate the spine. Feel that stretch through the whole side body. Jatra Paravriti, and this is Parshva version. This is said to help balance that fire at the belly, that power center, the Jatra Agni, fire at the belly. If you want to add a little juice to it, you can add a hold after inhale. 2 to 3 seconds, and then a nice long exhale. In your mind's eye, you could visualize that fire at the belly as you inhale. It burning brighter on that hold, and then exhale, release. When you're ready, going to the other side. For those of you with scoliosis, this is a key pose for the lower back. So you could bend that left leg and bring that right foot a little closer. You could have a bolster under your legs, both legs straight, and harder still, perhaps, is bringing that left ankle over the right, which will help you keep that right hip down. Harder still, drawing the shoulders towards the left. Harder still, holding opposite elbows. And the last variation, the strongest one, is perhaps holding that right wrist, but just depends on your body. I'm going to choose to hold my elbows. That's actually stronger for me. As you exhale, try to bring that right hip down. Inhale. Stretching through that whole right side of the upper back. And then exhale, focus more on the lower back as you bring that right hip down towards the floor. Perhaps feeling the quadratus lumborum, the QL wrapping from the hip to the lower back, maybe the IT band of that right side. Now focusing, if you like, on that power center in the belly button. There's a fire there, Jatra, Agni. Hold after inhale. Add a little bit of juice to that inner fire, your power center. So if you have a day you're feeling a bit depressed, a little bit damp, your mood is a bit dampened, as we say, that's a way of saying in our language that our fire is a little bit low. So you can brighten it with these holds after inhale in this pose, according to yoga therapy tradition. From Krishnamacharya's yoga, he was an Ayurvedic master, so he brought Ayurveda into his work. Can lengthen that hold a bit more. And having done 6 to 8 of these, if you feel ready, you're going to release. You could stay there quite a long time, depending on your back. Coming to the center, just to encourage alignment, holding the 2 sides of your mat and seeing if you can align yourself. It might help, especially if you have scoliosis, to put your feet at the baseboard of your wall and find your alignment that way as well. Just see if you can adjust yourself. And then as a counter pose, just moving into regular, simple Apanasana. Exhale, bringing the knees towards the chest, drawing the belly in towards the spine. And inhale, knees away. Just do this in your own timing. If you like, you can add a hold after exhale. 2 to 3 seconds. You could always do it one side at a time if you feel that that would serve you better. And I'll often do holds after exhale the same length as my exhale, so that might be an option for some of you. There's quite a few teachers and advanced students in this class, so you might be ready for something a little stronger. This is helping with the Apana Vayu, the downward flow of energy, grounding, rooting. And for many people, this will release tension in the lower back, especially with stenosis or degenerative disc disease, depression in the spine. This can be helpful. And release. Okay. So we're going to take it up a notch, and I'm going to add a bolster to what I do next. You can use a bed pillow, or you could choose to use nothing. So you can check this out, see how it feels. I'm sitting on the bolster, and when I lie down, my lower back is on the bolster, and I'm able to bring my knees to my chest, and I'm able to bring my legs up to the sky, to Viparita Karani. So these are the directions we're working in. So to begin with, we are going to have our legs up in this inversion, and you might wonder what this has to do with lower backs. You will see soon, I hope. So we're going to bring the left leg down, and that leg could be bent or it could be straight. And we did some of this when we're working with the hips. So I'm going back into that psoas, the front of the hip, because this is another major cause of lower back pain, is tight tightness in the hips. So just looping the hips in a bit. You might be feeling some sensation in your left knee. So it's a connection between the thigh and the knee. That can be there as well. That leg can be bent. That would be easier, or straight if you can. You want to make it harder still, you can hold behind your right thigh. And that will intensify things a bit more. And then if you can, imagine that you're stretching that left foot away from you and try to decompress that left hip. If you have any compression, this can be very helpful. And then when you're ready, you're going to exhale, bring the leg back up, and maybe bring the feet towards your face in a modified halasana or plow, or a supine forward bend, depending on how you view this pose. That is a way of really decompressing the lower back. And then when you're ready, legs back up to Viparita Karani, and then bringing that right leg down. Supta Padangustasana, and we're doing an Ekapada version of this if you want to have the Sanskrit. And then feel that right hip. So for those of us who are working and sitting a lot at our desks, or even not working and retired and sitting at our desks a lot, these hip flexors will get tight, and that will cause lower back pain very often. So this might be your pose, just this, or if you like, add a bit more by holding behind that left thigh, and then add more by stretching the right toes away. And see if you can decompress that right hip. And then when you're ready, exhale, bringing the leg up, using the core strength, the feet towards the face. And then we're going to go to the other side. So just side to side. You could go side to side, or if you'd like, stay 1 or 2 breaths on each side. I'll leave that up to you to decide. You can play with that. It's just side to side. So the inhale going into it, exhale coming back out of it. Inhale going into the one leg at a time. Exhale going into the Viparita Karani, legs to the sky. And then legs back towards your face. You can stay here a breath or two. During the stay, you might play with bringing your hamstrings into your hands on your inhale. Just see how that feels as well. So this is working the hips, the lower back. It's working on compression in the hips and an imbalance in the hips, one side being different than the other. And when you feel complete, you could just stay with your legs up to the sky in Viparita Karani. I'm moving my ankles, inhale pointing, exhale flexing as an add-on. And just finishing up, having done 4 to 6 rounds. Now I've got my hips and ankles aligned, Viparita Karani. I could modify by bringing my feet a little bit closer to my face. Just watch any tension that might create in the neck and shoulders. The advantage of bringing your feet back a bit is it compresses the lower part of the belly a bit more. in this position, which relaxes the mind and helps us counter a day of being on our feet by reversing the flow of the blood and the energy system. And literally helps us get out of our heads into our bodies. Add a hold after exhale if you like, to encourage the connection of the core, the stability in the pelvic floor to the belly button. Having that stability has so much benefit for the lower back, for the hips, for the legs, the knees, and actually the whole spine. That hold after exhale could be 2 to even 6 seconds. Half the length of your exhale, same length. You can play with that. If you get tingling in your legs, just bring your feet back or bend your knees, just take a break. Could stay here 3 to 5 minutes. And just notice on that exhale the effect on the lower back, the pelvic floor, how it helps you engage the pelvic floor, that mula, that root that goes from the pelvic floor to just below the belly button, according to the yogis. This pose is also said to be wonderful for our endocrine system, our lymphatic system, our nervous system. And when you're ready, bringing your knees into your chest. If it's comfortable, hug your knees into your chest. If it's not, just come out of it right away. And bring that bolster down. Just put it underneath your thighs and just rest for a few breaths here. Again, we're going to go back to that fire meditation. Picturing the Jatra Agni at the belly button. Imagine it's like a campfire and it's burning brightly. The color yellow is the color of this chakra, it's said. Imagine those yellow flames. If that is appropriate for you, you're welcome to just visualize the sun shining here if working with fire is not appropriate for you for any reason. If you like, maybe there's a word you'd like to toss into that fire to burn it away from your system, something that's keeping you from feeling strong, from feeling empowered. Maybe that word is fear, abhinivesha, one of the 5 kleshas or clouds that obscure our right seeing and knowing in yoga. In the Yoga Sutras, chapter 2, sutra 3. And maybe it is just lack of understanding or misperception. It's not seeing things clearly, lack of clarity. Maybe it's arrogance or ego, being too caught up in the story of me. Maybe it's desire, wanting what is not serving you. Always wanting what you don't have. Whatever's going on in your life, you're always thinking the grass is greener somewhere else. Always wanting what you don't have. Or maybe it's not wanting what you have, dvesha, klesha, aversion. And the last of the 5 again, abhinivesha, fear. Just picking a word related to those ideas, throwing it in that fire. And watching it burn away. Maybe creating some language for yourself around that in your head. I'm going to come back to this fire meditation later. We're going to move into another series of movements before we close. I'm going to put this bolster to the side, and we're going to flip onto our bellies. And we're going to do some back arches, but we're going to focus more on a very neutral spine. So I'm going to have you fold your arms if that's comfortable. One hand on top of the other. You could use an eye pillow under your forehead, or a small pillow or block. And you're going to tuck your toes underneath. And as you inhale, you're going to straighten your legs. And this is said to activate the multifidus, the deep back muscles, just doing this. And exhale, release. Inhale, straighten the legs. It's also wonderful for the knees. If you've got one knee that's weaker than the other, this will strengthen the muscles around the knees. And exhale, release. Just keep that going. Inhale, straighten the knees, come off the ground. And exhale, release. You could put a block between the thighs to increase the experience if you want it. You can hold after inhale to rev up that fire within you, holding 2 to 3 seconds. You noticing one leg more than the other, one side of your lower back. You keep that going, or moving to the stage.
Yeah, putting that card down.
Oh, just make sure you're muted. Somebody who's not muted. Okay, all right, we're good. Okay, so we're just going to do Shalabhasana. Or to Shalabhasana, lifting one leg at a time. You're going to inhale, bring one leg up. And then exhale, bring it down. Inhale, other leg up. Exhale, bring it down. And just keep that going. Just working on the legs, not the upper back. And then if you like, lift both legs. Inhale up, exhale down. And if it's comfortable, bringing the legs apart. Inhale, lift the legs up. Exhale, bring them together. You might flex your toes towards your nose. Inhale, bring the legs apart. Exhale, bring them down, just the legs. It's a variation of Vimanasana, airplane pose. Inhale, legs up, they're apart. Exhale, squeeze them together. Flex the toes towards the nose. Inhale, point the toes, legs apart. Exhale, come down. Just keep this going in your own timing. And when you're ready, just coming back into child's pose, or if child's pose is not possible for you, just go onto your back and bring your knees into your chest, or rest your legs on the ground with bent knees. And just rest here, stretching out the lower back. If it's comfortable, bring your arms towards the right, stretching that left side. Could fold the other hand into a fist and rest the hand on it, or put a pillow or block under your forehead. If you're on your back, you could just stretch one knee into the chest at a time. Going to the other side. Just feel the stretch on that right side of your back as you bring the hands to the left. Maybe making a fist with your left hand. And when you're ready, coming back to the center. And if it's comfortable for you, coming to a seated position for pranayama. If it's not comfortable, you can lie on your back for this. Might want to sit on a cushion or block or bolster. Just sitting any position that works for your body. And you want your back to be really comfortable. You can sit against a wall to keep your back really straight. That can be a nice variation. And I like to put my feet under my knees just to keep them, prop them evenly, but you can also use a block on each side. So I'm demonstrating a variation of Sukhasana that's taught in Iyengar yoga. So just a very simple version of pranayama. Anuloma Ujjayi Pranayama. Inhale both nostrils, constricting the throat, Ujjayi Pranayama. Exhale through the left nostril. I'm going to mirror it for you so it looks left for you. Inhale both nostrils. And exhale right nostril. That right nostril half closed, the left nostril fully closed. Inhale. I'm showing Mrigi Mudra. You could also just do it by making little cups with your hands, little beaks, Crow Mudra. Inhale both nostrils, exhale left. Keeping that left elbow nice and high as if you have a danda or staff under it. Inhale both nostrils. Exhale other side. I'm switching side to side with my hands. I'm doing this for the physical and physiological body. Classically, it's done just with the right hand, but I like to go side to side for the reasons I mentioned. Inhale both nostrils. Exhale left. Inhale both. Exhale right. Just keep this going a few rounds. Pick a ratio that works for you. Inhale 4 to 10 seconds. Exhale the same length or half the length. I'd recommend doing that. Sorry, I think I said that wrong. So inhale half the length of your exhale. So for example, inhale 5 seconds, exhale 10 seconds, or inhale 4 seconds, exhale 8 seconds, or inhale 3 seconds, exhale 6 seconds. So it's that lengthening of the exhale. Just finishing up. You can do this either sitting or lying down. Visualizing that fire at your belly. If you like, placing your hands in yoni mudra, creating a little diamond that you put around your belly button. And just visualize the fire burning up, maybe your legs and pelvis. Those are the logs of the fire, and then the base of the fire moves up, and the heart of the fire is right at the belly button. And again, throwing that word into the fire that works for you. So is it misunderstanding? Is it arrogance or ego? Is it desire? Is it aversion? Or is it fear? As you inhale, see that fire burning brightly with new prana energy, and exhale, throwing that word in and watch it burn away. Create some language for it to burn away. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, klesha, avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, klesha, avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, klesha. Letting go of those kleshas, those clouds of misperception that keep us from being in our center. Om Shanti together. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Namaste. Namaskaram. Thank you very much.